Hello and welcome to all the viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Meet the News here on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Edika Michael. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nikamsat. And now the details of the news. The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency says that the tentative date to commence vaccination for mpox is October 8, 2024. The head of the Public Relations Unit at the agency's Remy Adeleke, who disclosed this, also stated that the total population targeted in the first 5 states is 4,750 persons who will receive 2 doses each and 28 days apart. And out of party affairs, the People's Democratic Party candidate in Imo State's November 2023 governorship election, Senator Sambo Anyanwu, has announced that his party will participate in the state upcoming local government elections scheduled for September 21st. Our correspondent Amachi tells us more.
While briefing newsmen in Owerri, the state capital, Senator Anyanwu confirmed that the PDP will file contestants in the election.
Everyone knows that they don't. Have you seen where election is conducted in a state, and one man has 27 over 27? It's laughable, and that is what they will try to do with local government election. But I can tell you one thing: it's not going to work that way again. That is why PDP is in the race. We have fielded candidates in all over all the wards and local governments. Let them try and rig it. We understand the status. This is local government election. People in the village know who they want as their council. So if somebody wins and you take it away, you are causing chaos and anarchy. So it's not going to be the same. And if you watch today, like I told you about PDP is about the only party in the state who is gearing up and contesting this election.
Senator Anyanwu urged the people of Imo State to remain courageous and trust in God for guidance.
In as much as I would not want to blame judiciary, but obviously Nigerians are aware what happened in Imo State. Nigerians are aware for all the analysis that went viral everywhere in the world. People knew exactly what happened. But one thing stands very important. During the time of the campaigning and election process, so many rumors, blackmails were heaped around me and the party that we are not serious with the election. We are a placeholder for the incumbent governor. They said we are giving money to sell our mandate and all those kind of stories. But today I'm happy that Imolites who voted for us have seen the truth.
Local government election in the state has been scheduled for September 21st. From Owerri in Imo State, Amarachi Ibe reporting for Global.
And our Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy, has once again disrupted an event here in Abuja that was organized without our consent and lacked a people-centered purpose. The incident occurred nearly a month after a similar action by the minister on August 8, 2024 here in Abuja. During the previous event, which held without the ministry's approval, the minister stated that the organizer had been taken into custody by the Department of State Services for allegedly impersonating the ministry. And our Ogun State government has revoked the provisional licenses of 20 private orphanage owners operating in the state due to non-compliance with regulations and laws prioritizing the well-being and safety of vulnerable children. The State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Adijat Adeleye, made this known during a meeting with the private orphanage owners at the ministry's conference room. He also noted at the capital that displeasure over some private orphanage owners' activities starting out the state will not tolerate the shady practice involving illegal adoption, child trafficking, or maltreatment of children in their care. Meanwhile, the chairman of Ogun State Independent Electoral Commission, Babatunde Osebido, has his associate and, of course, the public reassuring of the commission's commitment to conducting a transparent local government election slated for November 16. Osidibo, according to his statement, made this commitment while speaking in a radio program. He also noted that they will adhere strictly to the guidelines as approved by the State House of Assembly in conducting the local government election. The Conference of Speakers of State Houses of Assembly has issued a strong call to state governors to immediately comply with the constitutional provision for the direct disbursement of funds to state legislatures. Speakers warned that failure to ensure financial autonomy can lead to a breakdown of governance and emphasized the critical link between the legislative independence and effective governance. The conference further noted that it recognized the need for further legal and institutional reforms to reinforce the autonomy of state legislatures. The National Association of Nigerian Students has withdrawn its threat to protest against the National Emergency Management Agency following allegations of food distribution misconduct. The Student Association also announced its support for the agencies after concluding its investigations, which found no wrongdoing by the agency. The Association Senate President Akintoye Babatunde, in a statement, said the decision is to retract the planned protest came after a thorough fact-finding mission that revealed the allegations were unfounded. And now the Chief Medical Director of the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital Ikeja, Professor Adekunbo Fawoyi, says the hospital has set up a high-powered panel of inquiry to look into the death of the Akwa Ibom State Commissioner of Police, YM Ayilara. Ayilara was reported to have died in the early hours of Thursday at the hospital where he underwent prostate cancer surgery. His death has, however, generated controversies as some allege the hospital of mismanagement. Oyo State government announced that it had concluded oral interview sessions for 8,077 candidates in the recruitment exercise for teachers in the state. The executive chairman of the State Universal Basic Education Board, Nurini Adanian, who announced this during a meeting with board members in Ibadan, the state capital, said the exercise has been concluded and over 50,000 applicants registered on the official website of the board, while 45,827 sat for the examination, in which 8,197 candidates scored above 50 marks. A visually impaired widow and over 600 students of the ESM University in Benin Republic and their parents have appealed to President Bola Tinubu to reverse the ban on the institution certificate in the country. The students and parents were, while fighting back fears, said they were shocked when they received news about the federal government decision on the ESM University Benin Republic. The undergraduates said withdrawing them from school when they were already making progress and after their benefactor had invested much in their education was tantamount to jeopardizing their future. Our flood triggered by days of torrential rain destroyed over 1,650 houses in Jajere and the towns in Yobe. Dr. Mohamed Jojo, the Executive Secretary of the State Emergency Management Agency, made this known in an interview in Damaturu, the state capital, saying that a total of over 413 houses in these areas were displaced by the latest flash flood. The Federal Road Safety Corps has condemned unprovoked attacks on its officers, saying such actions will no longer be tolerated. The Commandant Everest Road Marshal Assistant Skill Shendan in Plateau State, Yakubu Mohammed, said Saturdays during the closing of a one-week training program for Marshal Assistant. He said that the Corps will no longer tolerate unprovoked knockdown of its marshals while carrying out their duty on patrol. You're watching the media news on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. While media news returns, Kebbi Governor says state ready to pay 70,000 minimum wage. Details of these and more after this break. Please stay with us. Still watching Media News, many thanks for staying with us. And now to business. Governor Nasir Idris of Kebbi State has said his administration is ready to pay Kebbi workers the 70,000 naira minimum wage. The governor disclosed these in Benin Kebbi, when the leadership of the State Council of Nigeria Labour Congress paid him a courtesy call at the Government House. He said some persons have been going about this to say his administration will not pay the new minimum wage. The governor promised the workers that he will immediately commence the implementation of the new minimum wage as soon as the template to do is delivered to the state government. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, says the federal government, through the Bureau of Public Enterprise, has reached an agreement with the 3 Chinese firms to deploy 1.43 million electricity meters across the country. It is said that the signing ceremony was held at the headquarters in Abuja with TCN's chief executive, Sule Abdulaziz, who was represented by Ajiboye, the executive director of transmission service provider, and others. And the lawmaker representing Badagry constituency in the House of Representatives says Owenga has assured his constituents that Nigeria's borders will soon be open for commercial activities by the current administration of President Bola Tinubu. He gave the assurance during the Badagry stakeholders and youth engagement organized by his office. According to the lawmaker, the government is trying to see how they can mop up revenue internally. The Minister of State for Petroleum Hull, Senator Anakin Labori, has observed that the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited need to sell the imported fuel above landing costs to combat smuggling. The minister made this statement at the 2024 Energy and Labour Summit in Abuja, where he also pointed fingers at security agencies for their complicity in the aid of smuggling activities. He mentioned that smugglers will continue to thrive as long as NNPC imports fuel and sells it below the landing cost. Now, away from that, the Oyo Ocean Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service has reported significant achievement in revenue generation and anti-smuggling effort. The area controller, Dr. Ben Oramogo, discloses in Ibadan while briefing newsmen on the command's achievement between June 14 and August 29. Oramogo stated that from June 14 to August 29, 2024, the command collected a total revenue of 18.8 billion naira, with 13.31 billion generated in June and July, and 4.77 billion collected in August. On the foreign scene, Senegalese President Diomaye Faye has asked for more European support to tackle instability in the Sahel as the Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez wrapped up a visit to West Africa. The troubled South state of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are plagued by the jihadist violence and ruled by juntas who take power in a strange coup since 2020. The military leaders in the 3 countries have increasingly turned their backs on the West and have broken away from the West African bloc, Economic Community of West African States, to form their own confederation. The Director of Primary Health Care at the Health Ministry in the Hamas-run Gaza says a polio vaccination campaign has begun in Gaza, while an aid worker said a large-scale rollout to begin on Sunday. The coinciding with humanitarian pause agreed by the Israel and Hamas. The vaccination drive was announced after Gaza recorded its first polio case in a quarter of a century earlier this month. An unspecified number of children received the first dose of the vaccination, which involved 2 doses and is administered orally in the hospital's south city of Yunis. And our aerial strikes on Russian and Ukrainian border cities have killed at least 1,000 people in the bombardment that came as Kiev dismissed its Air Force commander in a major military shakeup. Both sides are also claimed to have advanced on the battlefield in Moscow and eastern Ukraine, and the Kiev in its shock offensive into the Russia's western region, with the fighting show no sign of subsidizing 2.5 years in Russia's invasion. The emergency service said at least 77 were wounded, including 88 children. A block on Elon Musk's social media in Brazil started to take effect after the Supreme Court judge ordered its suspension. The Brazilian Supreme Court judge Alexandre ordered the suspension of the platform following a months-long standoff with the tech billionaire over the disinformation in the South America's largest nation. Admirals handed down the ruling after Musk failed to comply with an order to name a new legal representative for the company. Now Israel pressed on with a large-scale military operation in the occupied West Bank for the 4th day as fierce fighting raged in the nearly 11-month Gaza war. As clashes and explosions persisted in the northern city of the Jenin, the Israeli military said 2 Palestinians were killed while preparing to carry out the bombings overnight in the south of West Bank. The Palestinian militant group Hamas's October 7 attacks on Israel sparked the Gaza war and held the operation at what it called a sensitive time during Israeli operations in the north. Still on the foreign news, Iran's police force has dismissed the commander of a city in the northern province of Gilin after the death in custody of a detainee. Mohammed Mir, 36, was arrested on July 22 after being involved in a fight in a Lijan, police said in a statement carried by the official news agency. The police said the station commander and the several officers involved in the incident had been suspended. And now to sports. A resounding 2024 Olympics campaign saw the Nigeria senior women's basketball team, the Tigers, moved up 4 spots from 12th to 8th in the latest FIBA working rankings released on August 29 in Switzerland. Nigeria returned their number 1 in Africa. France and Germany headlined the climbers as the United States of America proudly retained the top spot after taking gold at the Women's Olympic Basketball Tournament Paris 2024, while several other nations also secured rises off the back of their great work at the showpiece event. The West African giants, who jumped 4 places and into the top 10 of the rankings, sealed a rocky group phase victory, racked up 2 wins for the first time, and also became the first African nation, men or women, to compete in the quarterfinals on the Olympics. And our Nigeria's para-badminton players Bolaji Onyeola and Chigozie Nnamdi have progressed to the quarterfinals of the event at the ongoing Paralympics in the Paris after winning their second games. Competing in the women's single, Onyeola continued an impressive form, defeating Australia's Celine in 2-0, her second consecutive win, securing a place in the quarterfinals on her first outing of the Games. Meanwhile, Nana, striving to match Bolaji's success, faced the Indonesia's Freddy in a men's singles where he won a 2-0, also a second win. And as a package amid the news coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, we are on DSTV channel 365, Star Times 276, and free to air on Nicomsat. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now sharing the screen. I'm Edika Mike. Many thanks for watching and stay with us and meet the news. See you again.